I remember one day stumbling upon a Berserk volume. It was actually the most recent Berserk volume that actually released, volume 37, I believe. I'm not really sure. I think it was one of the Berserk volumes that I posted on Instagram. My good friend NumbNexus told me that he was currently reading Berserk at the time and said it was a really good manga, and I took his word for it. I didn't read the manga immediately. I read it a couple months later after I did the Instagram post. If I can find the post, I'll be sure to link in the description below. But I think it was almost like a year or 2 years ago. I'm not really sure when I found it. It was in a store called Indigo with Chapters. If you're aware of that store, basically it is a bookstore that sells books and other stuff, whatever people use in their daily lives. I have no idea, but I found I was like, oh, this seems really interesting. It was in shrink wrap, and shrink wrap mostly means that this manga is really has suggestive themes, has nudity, has rape, has all these dark stuff that they have to put in shrink wrap so little kids don't really look at it. And I was like, oh, this is my first time ever looking at a shrink wrap manga. That wasn't an Ichi series or anything. I was like, oh, why is this in shrink wrap? And I read the back of it a little bit. I didn't really understand it at the time. I believe they were going to Falconia, they were in the boat or whatever, and got to defeat that one of the Sea Kings, whatever, during that time. I think it was that volume as well. He was in his berserker armor, and I was like, oh, that looks really sick. And then a few months later, I was like, oh, I remember looking at this at Indigo, and I'll go read it. And I read the first volume, then the next volume, then the third volume, and then after the 4, 5, 6 volume, the 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 volumes, I eventually got to the good part, which is the Golden Age arc, which explains the past of our main character Guts, or Gutsu, other names that Guts has, but his official name is Guts. And obviously it talks about his adventures basically in the Golden Age arc during the Midland War. Basically, he was a young child. He was raised by this band of mercenaries due to the fact that his mother basically got hanged, and while she was giving birth to him, he basically fell between obviously all the dead bodies and blood and stuff, and his orphan, basically his mother or this woman basically picked up Guts and basically took her back to her camp and stuff, and then she died a mysterious death or disease, and then obviously an abusive person had to basically raise Guts and basically had to make him learn combat. He was only like 10 years old, or during the age where most kids would be playing. He had to learn the darkness of war and absolutely kill a lot of people when he was younger. And thanks to that titanic strength, his tactician battle, just his will and such, he was able to basically eventually, as he progresses, wield the berserker armor, and his big ass titanium sword is capable of destroying demons. This Kento Mura's work and basically takes place in a fantasy dark world of version of Europe. Basically, follows him in the Golden Age arc. Basically, followed him in the Midland War with the mercenary group called the Band of Hawks, and their main guy Griffith, who's actually the antagonist of the series, and actually branded Griffith and branded Guts and obviously his girlfriend Casca as an unholy sacrifice, and obviously all the other people of the Band of Hawks, the original one, and sacrificed them to the God of Hands. Basically, Griffith himself became one of the God of Hand people. Basically, became very powerful as well, and during one of his years. He's a very smart character who absolutely is seems like a slave to his dreams. That's one of the themes. Do not be a slave to your dreams. And obviously it does follow the ominous fate of Shakespeare and Macbeth. If you do like Shakespeare's works or Macbeth or anything, or if you love a good action series that has a shit ton of action, nudity, swearing, all these kinds of blood and such, you will definitely enjoy Berserk for what it is, because it looks absolutely freaking fantastic. It's just really detailed in the gore, literally detailed. When I say detailed, I mean literally you can see everyone's spines being eaten, rip it off, just freaking like nudity, just in freaking like there was a one-page dedicated to basically sexual intercourse or rape. It was just absolutely dark in the time, but for some reason I just felt enticed just to keep on reading to see what our main character Guts would do in this whole dark world. I thought he would give up eventually, I thought he would die, but his character kept on growing and eventually became very attached to the current team. As he formed his own band of hawks with different people, such as basically Furpico, Cascas. Basically, when she basically came out of sacrifice, she was also one who was saved, but her mental stability was basically affected very much, and just the different themes. I'm going to be saying the word themes a lot because it's just very interesting, because I was actually researching a little bit of Berserk's manga, and actually I'll be doing more research for Berserk's manga, because it's just so interesting to see how Kimura Kimeto, or the mangaka, actually, I can't really pronounce the name, so I'm going to put it down here somewhere so I don't mispronounce the name or get it wrong, because the name is a bit confusing for time. It's just to see how the world of Berserk just where it develops, and just to see how the world itself became like this, and to see obviously the apostles, and obviously the God of Hands and the Skull Knight as well. There's some characters that have really interesting histories and past, and obviously just to see how the fate is going to be In fact, obviously the mangaka is known to basically kill innocent people. It's just so interesting to see, I wonder who's gonna die next and how they're gonna die, or what are they gonna leave in the world as well. Berserk is telling you to obviously follow your dreams and just don't forget the people who are always there, because that's what Guts did, and don't become a slave to your dreams, just like how Griffith did. And obviously, just to make sure your dreams are big. Don't obviously have small dreams, otherwise you will be settled for what you have. Never be settled for what you have. It obviously has the typical shonen tropes, but it presented it very differently. Presentation is always important, because everyone can have the same message and stuff, but how you present it is what makes your manga very unique. So I definitely recommend you read Berserk. I believe this is my first manga recommendation video, and currently Berserk is going on a serialization of monthly now. It used to be weekly, now it's monthly. Since obviously manga cat usually goes in hiatuses due to for whatever reason he goes in hiatuses. He's pretty lazy, he could get sick. But obviously it is back, thankfully, and it is monthly. And obviously it does have almost 340 chapters. So by the time you catch up, there should be around 1 to 3 to 4 more Berserk chapters for you to read, and just consider yourself very lucky, because I almost forgot. I might just have to go reread Berserk, because I think I forgot everything that almost happened, and I cannot wait to go reread Berserk. I believe I read the first few volumes again, just think, oh, I want to go read some Berserk, and I did, and I absolutely enjoyed every time I read, and I absolutely learned something, and just so interesting to see the history and just how fucked up and twisted, and how realistic the history is too. There's a lot of politics, war, religion, just everything in Berserk that you will absolutely love or absolutely hate. So be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more if you want to. This is currently day 4 of my series called 1 Week in Hell, where I upload horror, sign-in, or mature related series videos every day for the week of Halloween. So we have around 5, 6, and 3 more days to go. And thank you for actually watching all. If you watch all the 1 Week in Hell videos, thank you very much. If this is your first one, be sure to go read Berserk, and thank you for watching the video anyways. My name is PlasmaRPG, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.